Fitzdog in studio. Now Dawson's in studio. He's got the news.
That's right. We're continuing to see how much of a bullet we, in fact, did dodge. That thankfully Kamala Harris did not win the presidency.
Can I just give a quick shout out to Dawson, who opened for me in Brea recently and fucking crushed?
Really?
So impressed with his stand-up.
Nice.
Really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That felt good.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was a ton of fun.
You got it.
Kamala Harris was supposed to be on a podcast called Subway Takes. Now, the idea of this podcast is they ask their guest what their hottest take is. Mm-hmm. And so when he talks about, you'll hear him tell this story. Let's let him tell this story about how Kamala show was canceled.
They got an email from the DNC.
Okay.
And they said, hey, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are really interested in being on your show. I said, that sounds cool. Okay. I'll at least get to tell my daughter that I met the potential president of the United States. Yeah. And so I said yes, based on the fact that it would be a good story. And also they both had good takes.
What happened with Kamala?
Her take was really confusing and weird and not good. And so mutually agreed that we shouldn't publish it.
I see.
And I got lucky because I didn't want to be blamed for her losing.
Her take was that bad?
It was really, really bad, and it was like didn't make any sense. I can tell you, it was bacon as a spice. Bacon as a spice.
Bacon as a spice.
So that was Kamala's take, that bacon is a spice. Now, I think that in some ways, Adam, this half encourages you because, you know, you always say that putting bacon on anything is cheating because it just masks the flavor.
It's an apology.
Everything.
It's an apology for whatever you're serving.
So could you agree that bacon is in some way a spice and also agree that that is the dumbest thing anybody could say who's running for president on a podcast?
It is almost becoming a spice now. I hate to agree with Kamala, but they're crushing it up and pouring it on everything. Yeah. And my feeling is like, first off, I never thought I would say either one of these two things, which is, these are two statements. If you'd got hold of me when I was 17, you'd never think you'd hear me say. One is, enough with the bacon. Mm-hmm. Okay. I've had enough bacon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's too, I just don't want to see any more bacon for a week. That's and the other is, we can stop making new porn. Those are the two statements that I now say that I would have never thought the words, I've had enough bacon and we don't need any more porn. I never thought I would utter those words. It's sacrilegious to me. But I now as an adult can say, there's too much bacon, and we got enough porn. My son will be fine with the 200 million hours of porn that currently resides in his phone.
I would put an asterisk on that. Are you familiar with
bacon porn?
Oh, yeah.
The making bacon one?
Yeah, she oinks while you do it and sizzles.
Yeah.
No, Czechoslovakian hidden camera massage porn.
I know that's your groove, but what I'm saying is,
have you seen it?
Even within very specific roads of porn or varieties of porn, I would still argue that there's still thousands of hours of Czechoslovakian hidden camera massage porn.
Hundreds, not thousands. We're not there yet.
Oh,
yeah. I just feel like the women. It used to be Japanese hidden camera massage porn, and they literally scrubbed the internet of it. It used to be a huge genre.
Let me revise this. You're right. I painted with too broad a brush.
Okay.
Okay. I'm generally tired of bacon being spread on way too many things. If I order a deviled egg, I don't need bacon on the deviled egg. I want a deviled fucking egg. And I don't need it on potatoes, a baked potato. I don't need it everywhere. I don't need everything to taste like bacon because I ordered a baked potato and I'd ordered deviled eggs, and deviled egg has its own flavor. It's not bacon. It's deviled egg's flavor, if that's what you're in the mood for. I like bacon. I'd like them to tone it down a little. And in terms of creating new porn, I wanted to cease except for one genre, and that's Czechoslovakian hidden camera massage porn.
Yeah.
That, we need to double and triple down our efforts. As a matter of fact, all porn directors that are currently working double back porn and and cuck porn and big jugs porn and black ass porn and all forms of gay porn. I need you to now rally.
I want
behind
the big guys. I want Spielberg. I want Paul Thomas Anderson. They cross over. This is the time to pounce.
Look at it as wartime.
Yeah.
And you guys were GM and Ford, and you were making sedans. I need you to make tanks and Jeeps now for Fitzdog's cock. Essentially is what we're saying, right?
And the most insane part is that it's very, it is 100% real, and I defy anybody to tell me some of these, it's fake. Yeah? Okay. Take a look at her face. It's her face as he begins to rub her buttocks and then get into the inside of the thigh. Something happens to her eyes. The eyelids flitter. The eyeballs go top right, and then there becomes a manual stimulation, at which point you can see the rib cage start to move up and down slightly. The rest of the body is frozen, except for the rib. And there's the two fingers might start to thump up and down. She is pushing a lot down.
I'm going to carve out a second genre, which is porn audition tape. Where they come in, they're fully dressed, they sat down. Casting couch. They read with a woman.
Yeah.
At some point, she explains that she's not really comfortable making love to a woman.
Yeah.
And then the woman leaves and gets the guy, and, blowjob ensues.
Yes,
all right. I'm just going to revise that statement a little.
If I ever get into gay porn, I'm going to name myself Manual Stimulation.
Manual Stimulation. I'm going with Rocky Stucco. But I may have Colonel Duke Lacrosse. Because I like a uniform.
Right.
So back to this story. The host of the podcast, Kareem Rama, he's a Muslim. He does not eat bacon in the first place.
Oh, okay.
So it was a little bit like
research.
that. But then she kept doubling down, and she said, think about it. It's pure flavor. And then he asked if he could use beef or turkey as a spice instead. Then they paused the interview, and he told her he doesn't eat bacon. They asked if they could do a pre-planned segment, which her original take, Kamala's original take, was that you should have to take your shoes off at the TSA.
Oh,
she was going to defend taking your shoes off.
That's how you get voters.
Yeah, Americans love taking their shoes off. I sometimes wish I was wearing two pair of shoes. Yeah. So I had a second pair I could take off. Right. I love it that much.
But that was the take that she was originally going to go in there with.
I was always like, man, I wish I was wearing my riding boots now. Or my lineman boots, something that was the lace that just went all the way up, all the way to the top.
And the best is then you take them off and they make you stand with your feet on the yellow footprints, which have now had thousands of people with foot fungus stand on those exact spots. I always try to go a little wide, and they go, no, you got to stand on them.
And then you walk.
They're warm still.
I have literally taken pictures of the carpet as the filthiest stretch of carpet in humanity, because you go into the lobby of a hotel, the carpet gets cleaned, and it's not bad. You go into a restaurant that has carpet, the carpet gets cleaned, it's not bad. That is the carpet stretch time forgot. Right. Like, there's never any time to clean it. The airport's open 24/7. There's never a guy in there with a shampoo. There's always gum someone spit out. It's a goddamn shit show, that stretch of carpet. And I see women walking barefoot frequently. And then I also then realize this weird sort of relationship we have with germs, because the same chick who just walked barefoot down Damnation Alley of carpet and stood on the filthy footprints is now going in the bathroom and opening the door with her sleeve because she doesn't want to touch the handle. It's
taking a Carolla bath.
Anyway, something's wrong with Kamala. Something is wrong with her, and I think there is a problem. The problem is and Fitzdog, you see it with stand-ups all the time. they're at the end of the day, we're sort of human beings, you know, and you kind of go, I like that guy. You know, most people you talk to, especially lay people, if you talk to them about like stand-ups, they'll go, I love that guy. That guy's really funny. And then you go, I don't know. I've seen his stuff. Like, there's really not that much good stuff there. Like, if you wrote it down and they go, he's good. He makes me laugh. I like that guy. I like that guy. And you go, yeah, it's not really funny. Like, it's not, his stuff doesn't, if you wrote it down, you wouldn't think it was funny. They go, I like him.
Yeah.
It's like you like Nate Bargatze. Why do you like him? He's comfortable. He's super comfortable in his own skin. He's good, but he's not so good that he's the highest grossing comic, touring comic.
$80 million last year.
It's that he's super. Look, if you wrote down Fitzdog's material and you wrote down Nate Bargatze's material and you just sat and read it and you're like, one of these guys made $80 million last year. The other guy made $2,600, but he got free wings. The other guy's got one guy got a lot of free wings. You'd read it and you'd go, I think the guy who's got barbecue sauce on his jokes from eating the wings. The guy's got dipping sauce. I'm going with that guy. Like, you would. So what is it? Well, it's humans. It's us being human. You know what I mean? Like, you just go, and she doesn't know how to be a human. She's trying to do an impersonation of a human, just like when you see a stand-up doing their impersonation of a stand-up and no one likes it. You know what I mean? She's literally going, what would ingratiate humans or another human to another human? Like, I'll say that. I'll do that. What would they do? I'll work at McDonald's. McDonald's, that's the most human thing you can do. That's work at McDonald's. Very humble, very one of them, you know, and
she tells a Muslim that bacon is a spice.
She gets tripped, but when you do it, you get tripped up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of, she trips herself.
Although you got to say, she's like AI. When she first ran, and whatever it was, the first time we saw her run, was it 2016? She was so incredibly, like you said, she was doing an impression of a politician speaking. And she got way better. And you know, I think that it's just like the AI kind of reads it more and figures it out more and impersonates it better.
Yeah, no, the whole thing about the impersonation, whether it's the politician with all the answers or the loving husband who's really gay, you can pull it off for a bit. You're actually better than a regular husband because you're overcompensating for being gay.
Yeah.
So that thing, you can front load it and sort of pull it off. But eventually, you sort of become like a band and their sophomore album. You know, it's like you did all the good stuff. You were on the road touring, nursing a head full of songs for 10 years, went platinum, and then the record company said, we need a follow-up album in 9 months. And you're like, I just used all of my stuff. You know what I mean? And I think she used all her stuff, and now we're just into these impromptu conversations, and she couldn't work that one. All right.
Right. So the take she wanted to go with was, taking shoes off at airport in an ironic, serendipitous turn. Nearly 20 years after airline passengers were first required to remove their shoes for security, the policy is finally being phased out. TSA is planning on letting everyone keep their shoes on in most airports. Ace Man, you had a joke that except the airports that he's going to fly out of. Those are the ones.
They're sitting there in a room in Washington right now. Well, let's look at Ace Man's corridor here. All right, Burbank, all out.
And it's funny, I realize we all know that this policy came into effect because a guy named Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, tried to blow up a plane with a bomb in his shoe. It didn't work. But I'm reading here that the policy came 5 years after that.
Oh, really?
It took him 5 years to go, let's think about this. How do we stop people from blowing up planes with shoe bombs?
Yeah. Well, how about the guy? How about the cowboy with the boots with the big heel? We'll flag him. Yeah. And if I'm coming through in a pair of Chuck Taylors,
Yeah.
There's no bomb in those.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, LL Airline has like never had. Do you know that they've never had terrorist events on LL Airlines?
Yeah.
Because they profile. They go, what would logically be a terrorist?
Right.
Right. Yeah, I would get more granular. It'd be like, look, work boots, lineman boots, cowboy boots. You got a lot of TNT in that heel.
Yeah.
Anyone wearing topsiders?
Right.
Go on by.
Right.
Deck shoes, let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. There's just not enough sole there.
Yeah.
And if you're wearing those scary ninja shoes
Right.
that guys used to wear, those weird gangbangers and ninjas would wear them.
Yeah.
Or are you sneaking?
Or the toe shoes.
The toe shoes,
Yeah.
you're in.
You're in with the toe shoes. I feel bad for the foot fetishists because this was a field day for them. You would see guys loitering on the other side of the
Boners.
screener.
Yeah.
Looking for those, those Asian girls coming through. With the
And my
perfect
policy
toes.
with Crocs would be you got to take them off because they could hold a lot of high explosives in there, but we're not returning them. and we're doing
Just
you
have
a
a
favor.
bin. We just have a giant bin.
We throw them in there like we do your water bottles. And then when people complain, we just keep repeating, you're welcome.
I love how that this policy was introduced when it didn't work.
Yeah.
The guy couldn't. It's very difficult to blow up a plane with your shoe. I'd say nearly impossible.
Yeah.
But then for 20 years, we're all taking off our shoes.
I
because
think they're
it didn't
changing the
work.
liquid policy too. It's
Really?
3 ounces right now. I think they're raising it.
You know the problem? The part that doesn't really make sense is I got a half bottle of Desante water, right? And I go, what, can't bring it on, It's also, ironically, everything at the airport's like $11 more than it is at a 7-Eleven. But they go, can't bring it. You can finish, can't bring it on. I go, well, why? Well, it could be, nitroglycerin or something or kerosene or something. I go, okay, so we're all just going to throw it in this universal tin can that's right in the middle of 7,000 people all day, every day. Let's just say it was a bomb.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was an incendiary device. I'll just set it behind the x-ray machine where there's 40 of you officers all standing around and then 2,000 public just passing by every 40 minutes. You think that'd be a good idea?
Right.
Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
All right, Dawson.
Yes.
I know we didn't get to a lot of news, but it was a spirited conversation.
Good times.
Good times. Fitzdog will bid you adieu. We got Chris Collins and Selena Myers coming in. They got a movie. And we got interesting
Isn't
conversation.
Selena Myers the name of the woman on Veep? That's the character's name
Selena
on
Meyer.
Veep. Oh,
But
Meyer.
yes,
Oh,
it
okay.
is. Yeah.
Isn't Chris Collins the name of a former NFL player who's also a reporter?
That's
Collins
Worth. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's different people.
Different people.
Same name, game.
Hey, let me ask you guys a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm really obsessing over super simple names where there's only one famous one of them. Like, okay, what is a more ubiquitous American name than Alex Jones?
Sure.
I have a friend named Alex Jones. Very
There you
good
go.
friend. Yeah.
It's totally ubiquitous. It's Alex is ubiquitous and Jones is it's every fake last Smith or Jones. You know, it's ubiquitous. If I go, I heard Alex Jones talking. You don't go, Alex Jones, the NFL great, or Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist, or Alex Jones, the astronaut.
Yeah.
Or Alex Jones, the senator from Kentucky. You go, there's one.
Yeah.
Why is there only one? Is your friend famous?
No.
There's only one famous guy named Alex Jones, but there's got to be millions. And I've really been thinking about it a lot lately. And I'm like,
that's interesting.
It must be that hard to be famous.
Yeah.
Because it's not that there's not a lot of Alex Joneses.
Right.
There must be hundreds of thousands of Alex Joneses. And certainly in the last 30 years, there had to be 2 million Alex Joneses. But I say Alex Jones, you go, all right, one. And they go, okay, who's the second most famous Alex Jones? And you go, there's nobody.
There are probably 200 Alex Jones podcast hosts named Alex Jones.
Someone will write me a tweet and go, there's a district selectman out of San Diego whose name, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know who that person is.
Right.
And neither is anybody in this room.
My brain is in full, I'm in overdrive right now trying to think of 2 famous names. Well, I mean, part of the with actors, it might be you may change your name.
You'd be Michael J. Fox or something.
Well,
you know, Jeff Ross used to be Jeff Lifshitz. Lifschultz.
okay.
Sounds insulting when you say it.
It was Lifschultz.
Right.
And he changed it to Jeff Ross, but then there was a producer on Conan O'Brien named Jeff Ross. So he changed. So Jeff changed his name to Jeffrey Ross.
Oh, is that why I thought he's just going fucking highfalutin on
Nope.
me. That's why I went from Jeff.
He's
to
got a
Jeffrey.
show opening on Broadway. Shout out. Take a banana for the ride in August.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. There's Alex Jones never gets an answer, but anytime I say I'm going to go see Alan Parsons this weekend, people go, Alan Parsons? Alan Parsons? What other one is there?
Yeah.
I'm now realizing that it's harder to be famous than I thought. And, you know, there's only one. There are plenty of girls named Haktua Girl, but there's only one.
There's Mick Jones.
That's right.
Who was the guitarist for The Clash, and he was the lead singer for Foreigner.
Oh, that's true.
Hey, Sid. I've been working the TaskRabbit, just doing handyman crap, because obviously I have no skills. Anyway, I'm moving this arcade game upstairs for these gay guys. And the other guy, was grabbing the bottom of the thing. I'm grabbing the top of the thing. And I made a top-bottom joke, and nobody got it. It's like, come on, man. There's nothing funny anymore. I'm the top, you're the bottom, or whatever. Come on. It's funny. Fuck off.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
I know. I love that. I love a good top and bottom joke. Yeah.
Great. I wonder what arcade game that guy was talking about.
Oh, Mr. Fister. I don't know. That was the name of my gay bar. All right, Rudy, you got some news?
Let's do it. Pranksters in scary Halloween mask terrified a family member in a hoax that needlessly cost more than 100 hours of police manpower and could have had deadly consequences.
Oh, man.
A 911 caller on October 14th reported that there were 3 masked individuals making threats at her door. A video of the scary Halloween encounter captured on the home's doorbell camera went viral after multiple community tips helped investigators learn the 3 masked people were boys ages 14 to 16 who were 2 sons and a nephew of the prank's perpetrator, a cousin of the victim.
You know, Mike August doesn't make a lot of great points, but he did make a great point the other day, which is you go into the Home Depot and they have like a 11-foot tall werewolf and witchy poos, 12 feet, and it's like massive animatronic stuff that, all I do is I go, God, my family would have never, ever bought any of that shit. But how cool is it being a kid today? But he goes, where do you put it all year?
Yeah.
Like, I know it breaks down. Like, I know you don't have to have a 14-foot werewolf in your garage all year long. Like, it breaks apart, but it's still 11 foot tall. Like, it could break into 3 pieces and go in a box somewhere. But, I mean, by the time you do the whole front yard, that's taking up the entire garage during the off-season. And the off-season is 11 and a half months a year.
Yeah, as a guy who every year at his house would put out a giant Halloween display, it's usually I think we had about 6 those Rubbermaid totes. We had about 6 of those filled, and then we had a couple of things that we just had to stack up in the rafters of the garage because they were too big.
Yeah.
And then if you really want to permanently store them, you just wait until your ex-girlfriend leaves you and takes half of it and doesn't tell you, and then you go out to the garage in October and go, son of a bitch.
She took your Count Chocula?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that giant wavy, wacky, inflatable arm guy. That was Jack's skeleton version of that. She took that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That bitch.
Totally. Buried her ass in the backyard.
Did you a favor, though, probably.
Yeah, actually, because the rest of it, I moved a year later, and the rest of it just went to various neighbors and relatives, but it's a lot.
Yeah. All right, we got the video. I think we can play here.
Act like he's serious. Act like he's serious.
So I don't get it. It's Halloween time, right? Why was she freaked out about this?
Well, she doesn't know who these people are.
Oh, okay.
Open up the door.
Also, if there's anybody outside my house yelling this,
Open up the door.
aren't you just more laughing than terrified?
I think so.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to have a paintball gun.
Yeah.
Because you have a paintball gun, that'll separate the wheat from the chaff. You know what I mean? Because you could have Freddy Krueger out there, whoever, Jason, but two good, well-placed shots with a paintball gun. If they're 14-year-old boys, they're just running down the street screaming, right?
As we learned, a Rimfire 22, that'll also scare them off.
We did some Rimfire 22. Charlie Sheen, we took a deep dive, Rudy and I did. He was staying at my place last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why this has gone viral. I don't get it, but have a paintball gun nearby, and no one's going to sue you for shooting with a paint gun when they try to threaten you this way with the Freddy Krueger thing.
There is a new documentary called The Perfect Neighbor. I believe it's on Netflix, about a woman and her neighbors that after months and months of going back and forth, a lot of shouting matches, screaming at the kids, neighbor took a young boy's iPad, and then the mom showed up, banged on the door. Woman shot through the door, ended up killing the woman. And this is a good reason as to why I get there should be you shouldn't be terrified if you are the homeowner of this. But this is also a good reason why you shouldn't maybe show this documentary to your kids and go, don't go banging on people's doors. I get that it's supposed to be funny and it's a joke, but hey, man, this is how you can end up with one in the chest.
Yeah, we would do the opposite when I was a kid. We'd go streaking. And streaking is sort of the opposite of this, in that there's no hiding behind anything.
Yeah, that's a hell of a Halloween costume.
Yeah, we would do it in the summer months, probably.
Okay, gotcha,
It's a little warmer.
A little warmer, yeah.
Get a little better hang, at night.
A little good blood flow.
But definitely been streaking. Streaking was a thing.
Yeah.
It was popular. They wrote a song about streaking.
What song is that?
The Streak.
That's called The Streak?
Oh, they call him The Streak.
Oh,
Ray
sure.
Stevens.
Oh, sure. Ray Stevens. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Ray Stevens was the greatest. He's been on the show because he'd have The Streak, and then he'd have Ahab, the Arab, and he'd have all these things. And then his big hit. I still love the commercial because I don't know. Find the Ray Stevens record collection commercial, because the thing that's crazy about it is they'd go, you remember The Streak? Look at it. Here, that slide whistle, and then they'd go into, and Ahab, the Arab, king of, it's the most offensive shit. And you remember Guitar Zan, and his jungle band. And then at some point they'd go, and who could forget? Everything is beautiful in its own way. Like he had the craziest, softest, pro-America, pro-religion, whatever hit.
Yeah.
Along with novelty Ahab the Arab stuff.
Yeah.
Which is showed a range.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want to see The Streak. I need a commercial. I need the commercial for Ray Stevens' greatest hits, or something like that.
There were so many of these, during the late 80s, early 90s. They had this. There was Dorf on Golf. There was great.
This predated that.
Yeah, this was all. There was so many good sort of infomercials to sell.
But it just cracked me up that Everything is Beautiful was a #1 hit by the guy who brought you Guitar Zan.
Yeah.
We need volume, sir.
Yeah, I did. With hits like... You had moved into a haunted house.
Nah, we need old Ray Stevens. This is new.
Yeah.
This is what the kids do all the time. They give you the 2007 version of the commercial. We need the 70s version of the Ray Stevens best of. But anyway, all right, you can. Let's see if I got it.
That almost looks like a parody commercial of a Ray Stevens commercial.
Well, that is Ray Stevens.
Yeah.
But, they ran best of. Yeah, maybe. Was that The Streak?
Is that guy still around?
Yeah.
Is he in Branson?
No, he's in Zurich. Yes, he's in Branson.
Boogity, boogity. And he ain't wearing no clothes.
Ray Stevens has sold millions of comedy records.
Yeah, I did.
You've listened and laughed at him for over 2 decades.
Come and lay here by my side. Till the early morning light.
Now Now, for the first time, you can see him on home video in 8 of his greatest, funniest hits.
Are you naked?
And you get it all on one hilarious VHS videotape.
You should have seen the look in her eyes when that squirrel jumped her garters and crossed her thighs, and she jumped to her feet and said, Lord, have mercy on me.
You'll get the Mississippi Squirrel, the street.
Oh, yes, they call him the street.
Sitting up with the dead.
Uncle Fred just sat right up.
Surfing USSR. Santa Claus is watching you.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Help me make it through the night.
It's easy for you to say.
And
Me again, Margaret. They got me, Margaret.
this collection also includes one of Ray Stevens' most loved songs.
Here we go. It's away. And then right into Guitar Zan. All right. That's what I'm saying. A lot of range.
I wonder if there was any kids back in the day that were like, "You don't get it, Dad. This is our music. Guitar Zan is our music, Dad.
They have the Arab is our music. Arab. Yeah.
Oh, man.
He wasn't a great interview.
Really? You don't say. Man, dude, him and Dunham on the road together, that would be where it's at. You get Arab what is the name again?
The puppet?
Yeah, no. You get Ray Stevens.
Ahab the Arab.
Ahab the Ray. Why can't I say it? God damn it.
The Arab.
Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
You get him and then the Ahmed, the dead terrorist, in the same room, man.
Oh, yeah.
Comedy gold. Comedy gold. Bill Gates calls for a strategic pivot in climate change fight from curbing emissions. Bill Gates thinks that climate change is a serious problem, but it won't be the end of civilization. He thinks scientific innovation will curb it, and instead, it's time for a strategic pivot in the global climate fight, from focusing on limiting rising temperatures to fighting poverty and preventing disease.
Yeah. So, look, you're not going to do much in terms of getting China to stop emitting so much CO2 and India and a lot of these other growing nations. But you can have air conditioning and seawalls and stuff like that. I mean, look. Okay, here goes, Rudy. You ready?
Please.
Poor Rudy had to swing by the job site with the caissons in it before we headed to work today. I drove Rudy into work today. We live in a place where there's earthquakes. So I don't know if you just go climate causes the earth to shake to such a point where buildings come down and are crumbled to the ground. Okay, so we have earthquakes. So we realize we have earthquakes. Whether it's a San Andreas fault, plate tectonics, God, Ray Stevens, whoever causes earthquakes, we cause earthquakes. But we have earthquakes. So then we build accordingly. And we can build structures that can withstand a big earthquake and nobody gets killed because we understand, we have technology, we have engineering, and that's how we build. So we do that. And then there are places like Guatemala where they don't build to withstand earthquakes, and they have a bunch of unreinforced concrete, and then a 7.2 hits Guatemala, and the whole place is level, and there's kids, and they're trapped, and then we can't find people, and we need cadaver-sniffing dogs. That's in Guatemala. 7.2 hits here, nothing happens. Things shake around, fence falls over, parking structure, whatever. That's it. So we just prevent it by building a certain way, and we prevent it. Well, then there's global temperature. So it's Death Valley, it's 121 degrees. Okay, but we invented air conditioning. I mean, you live in Vegas. You can live in Vegas. You used to not be able to live in Vegas, and now you can live in Vegas because you leave your air-conditioned apartment, you go into the people mover that has air conditioning, and that takes you into the casino at Caesars, and then you walk around the air conditioning there, but it's 114 degrees outside, but you're not outside, you're in air conditioning.
Yeah.
And then you get in your car, and your car has air conditioning. Now, how hot is it? In Vegas, well, it's 119 degrees. How hot is it in Malibu? It's 80 degrees. I got air conditioning. You got air conditioning. We just set both of them for 71 degrees in your car, and that's what it is inside my car. Even if where I live is 50 degrees cooler than where you are, it doesn't matter. So you can build, and we can use technology to counteract this stuff and almost go around it. So they didn't have good seawalls in New Orleans. It's below sea level, and Army Corps of Engineers didn't build the seawalls right, and then the storm came, and then it flooded, and then people died. But then you can rebuild the seawalls so that the storm in the ocean doesn't get above it, and then people don't die.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to stop the sea, and you're not going to stop earthquakes, and you're not going to stop the sun and the heat, but what you can do is have air conditioning, seawalls, and caissons, and grade beams, and reinforced concrete, and shear walls.
Yeah.
And then it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So just do that.
Just do it.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
But they don't like that because that doesn't involve taking shit away from you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their thing is, well, we'll get people in the Santa Monica area to stop driving internal combustion vehicles. That's not going to do anything. It's called global warming.
Yeah.
Like at China and India.
As a guy who has lived in Minnesota most of his life, the thing that comes back is when it gets to be January and we have those cold snaps of, negative 35 and they last for 10 to 15 days. And then you go, man, pretty brutal out there. And they go, that's global warming.
All right.
Why? What do you mean it's global? I thought it's cold outside. But that's the effect of global warming is that it gets really hot during the summertime and then it gets I'm like, that's exactly what it's always been. So if it's global warming, would it not be warmer in the wintertime?
Well, here's what I would say to Gavin Newsom and the ones who want to blame the fire on global warming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's global warming's fault, but it's the earthquake's fault too. But you build your freeway overpasses to withstand a 8.5, and then it doesn't fall down and kill people. So, all right, there's global warming. I'll sign off on that. So now we got to clear some brush. We got to hire more firefighters. We have to get the equipment up and running. We need to fill the aqueducts, and we need to get one of those planes that Canada has that drops the fire retardant material because of global warming, right?
Yeah.
Your thing is global warming and no water in the aqueducts? That seems like that seems like the Palisades may burn to the ground. That's just me.
Yeah. It seems like as time has gone on, we've figured out ways to outsmart nature. Between dams and windmills, we figured it out.
Well, I mean, air conditioning means you can work and live in places that were not hospitable to human beings year-round.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Now.
About half of our lives, we've never left 72, but our children have never left 72 degrees.
Plus, you and I were on a job site that was on the ocean today. The houses that were built along that ocean are from the 40s, many of them. Where's the rising sea again?
Mm-hmm.
PCH, and I'll point this out because we'll know it. We're looking at these caissons, these cement poles that are buried in the ground. The ones that were by the highway, PCH, where we were standing, I had to point out to you, I go, it's in the ground. You can't see it, but there it is, just barely sticking up out of the ground. The ones that were 30 feet, 40 feet close to the ocean were up out of the water about 5 feet because that's level, meaning where the highway is, PCH, to where the ocean comes in on high tide is only about a 5-foot difference in height.
Sure.
No water's ever been on PCH.
Yeah.
Water's never been on PCH. It's only 5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's over the course of, well, they were building houses there, but I don't know, PCH was built there in the teens or the turn of the century. So where is this sea? Where's the rising sea is what I'm asking.
Yeah. Yeah, I see multiple videos of icebergs that are melting, but my ankles are still dry.
Those lots wouldn't go for $6 million.
Yeah.
And after you're done spending the $6 million, the first 2.5 got to go into the foundation. So you're at 8.5 before the first load of 2x4s gets dropped off to build your new house. You're at 8.5. It wouldn't go for that if the seas were going to engulf your home.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, good on Bill. George Clooney reportedly claims that Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir claims that he was with, I can't even believe that I'm reading this, Ghislaine Maxwell one time claimed that she performed oral sex on him.
You know you're good looking when chicks are lying, saying they blew you. Because I got a lot of chicks who blew me. They're like, who?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I have a little something called dignity.
Yeah.
Okay? No.
What is that? A bunch of gray pubes on? No, definitely not Adam Carolla's gray.
No, not his gray. No, I have chicks lying about blowing me.
Yeah.
This is the other direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this came out in her memoir where Clooney's people came out immediately and said that this story is absolutely BS.
Here's what I want to say about denial of blowjobs in Clooney and why I tend to believe her. I don't know a lot of guys who turn down a blowjob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So blowjob is sort of like saying, well, I played catch with Peyton Manning. It's like, well, what happened? Well, the ball went in my yard, and then I saw him standing in his yard, so I just picked it up and threw it back to him. Like most guys don't go, now.
Yeah.
And that instinctively, like you're in the park and the basketball goes rolling. You just pick it up and throw it, right? Like it's a guy instinct. Yeah. It's kind of like
little help.
Cars backing up, gonna hit some trash cans. Hands go up. Come on. You got it. You don't know the guy. You stop walking your dog and start waving the guy. There's an Amazon truck backing out of a driveway. You're all hands.
Yeah.
You don't know the guy. Yeah. That's a dude thing.
Yeah, Peyton Manning's got his mouth wide open. You're back helping him back it in.
Wants to give you a blowjob.
Yeah, of course.
Need. So she's a good-looking woman, and she's like, want a blowjob? And most guys are like, yeah, all right.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So I don't fault a guy. And by the way, the history of the woman doesn't really factor in, like what she up to, how she vote, what are her politics, is she running underage chicks? It's like, hey, blowjob. Yeah. Right now, windows closing. Here we go.
Yeah, I would love to see any of these dudes who, walk around in dresses with blue hair, who still have a dick swinging between their legs, and a gal shows up with a MAGA hat, and she's like, hey, BJ?
Blowjob?
Yeah, what's he going to say? No? Of course not. Of course he's going to take it.
Under the tent.
Yeah. Yep. Passenger left behind food so
he's
bad.
saying he didn't get the blowjob.
He's saying that they have absolutely no connection whatsoever, that they've never met.
My answer would just be, look, I get a lot of blowjobs. So.
Yeah. A lot. In fact, 4 on the way here today.
If I were him, it'd just be, I get a lot of blowjobs, I can't keep track.
Yeah.
So possibly.
Yeah. Even when I'm not driving, I'm still getting one.
Well, where did she say, she had to say she was at a party. Hey, the whole thing about the blowjob, or about this story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's funny is that they don't get into exactly where that this happened. She did say, let's see, you know what? Really, it only talks about the fact that.
See, here's where I believe it. If she goes, look, Neil Sedaka's a close personal friend.
Yeah.
And he was throwing a party. And I went to a party. It was in Beverly Hills. And next thing I know, George Clooney's in there.
Yeah.
He's a friend of Neil Sedaka. And then we start drinking. And I end up in the bathroom and I give a blowjob. Like that to me might have something other than this sort of, I met him once.
Yeah. Specifics. That's what you need.
But also, when bad people give you a blowjob, I don't feel like that diminishes your worth.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's say if I said this. My grandpa, they got a blowjob from Ava Braun. Like, I wouldn't go, he's a Nazi. I'd go, good for him. Hope he dropped a load right in her forehead. Yeah, that one's for America. Yeah, like Inglourious Bastards. Right, like I would go, good for him.
Yeah.
That's not a...
Sure.
It's like an endearment thing. That's like you're in charge.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Well, I think to dudes behind closed doors that you don't lose any credibility. But I think if other women find out that you got a blowjob from a certain somebody,
so like I should stop telling everyone Marge Schott gave me a blowjob.
Well, no, actually you gain points, a lot of points with that. Okay. Yeah, a lot of points. Yeah. Now if it was Jerry Jones on the other hand, another sports owner, then
obviously I don't swing that way.
Yeah, of course. See, it brings you down. Yeah.
I got a clip that Dr. Drew loved. And I wasn't planning on playing it, but for some reason I'm in the mood.
Oh, I heard you guys cackling earlier today.
True. It's just, I said, I want to play. I had this notion about Gavin Newsom's all in the news, and he's always in the news now. And I realized my conversation with Gavin Newsom was insane. I had an insane conversation with him, but I realized it's me and my voice and Gavin and his voice. And so people are kind of like, well, you're arguing with Gavin and Gavin's arguing with you. And so who knows? Let him talk, whatever. And I'll just play the first 30 seconds so you know what it is.
Family members, money put away.
I got it, but think about
don't
Adam,
have the kids.
Half of African Americans in the state of California, roughly half of Latino families, have no access to a checking account or an ATM. Things we take for granted. They don't have a checking account.
What's wrong with them?
And well, because they don't have the resources to sock those things away.
Why do we have them?
All right, everyone's heard this, and it's always like Adam saying this and Newsom saying that. But I thought, if you read this like a transcript, then you would think Newsom was insane. Right now, it's my voice and his voice, and they're familiar, and you're picking a side or what have you. But I said, I need a transcript of this and have actors read it. And you probably should have let me set up, but that's all right. So I was working in the other room. I was over here with Joey, and I said, Joey, can you do some sort of AI thing where it's like you just get a transcript of this argument I had with Newsom, and then we'll have AI or actors or somebody read it, and that way we can hear it more clearly. And he said, well, there's no real AI actor voices. The only one there is Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, well, make Burt Reynolds Gavin Newsom in this scenario, and then make me a chick. I want to be like a sensible NPR chick. So Adam Carolla is going to ask the exact, it's verbatim. It's a transcript of our dialogue, but my voice has now been taken over by an NPR sensible chick, and Gavin Newsom's voice has been taken over by Burt Reynolds. And here's what that sounds like.
Half of African Americans in the state of California, roughly half of Latino families have no access to a checking account or an ATM, things we take for granted. They don't have a checking account.
What's wrong with them?
Well, because they don't have the resources to sock those things away.
Why do we have them?
A lot of different reasons, but roughly half those families don't.
Why do Armenians have them?
But where they end up is a check cashing place.
But I want to know, why those groups? Why do those two groups not have access?
Just happens to be that we can talk about...
Are they flawed?
No, they're hardly flawed, but they're struggling.
Genetically flawed?
Hardly. Absolutely not.
Do Asians have this problem?
I mean, a lot of communities have problems. A lot of whites have these problems.
All right, pause it for a second. So you will realize that Burt Reynolds sounds insane. In this conversation. Now, Gavin Newsom doesn't because he's arguing with me and people don't like me. But when he's arguing with the sensible NPR chick, now Burt Reynolds sounds nuts. All right. So, and listen, I love it when he just goes, it just is. It's like, why are they at the check cash? That's how it is. Like, thank you, problem solver. That's right. We need more like guys like you in charge who can just bring up a problem and then go, it just is.
It just is.
All right, sorry. We'll continue.
A lot of communities have problems. A lot of whites have these problems.
So it's not just black and Hispanic?
No, but
Well, why did you bring up black and Hispanic?
Because the magnitude is ominous.
But why so many of them?
It just happens to be just the magnitude.
That's the way God planned it?
Not at all.
Well, what happened to them?
There are a lot of issues, and communities are struggling.
Why are they struggling?
A lot of different reasons.
Hispanics have been here, blacks have been here longer than we have been here.
Well, we can surmise.
What about Asians? They were put in internment camps.
Yeah. In fact, it all initiated out of San Francisco. The Chinese Exclusion Act came out of progressive San Francisco.
So are they at the check cashing places?
A lot of Asians certainly do.
Oh, so why don't you include them?
Because then the only reason why is the magnitude of the problem.
But there's no way to figure out how that happened.
We could talk about, you know what I'm dealing with? I don't want to have a sociological debate.
Sure. Why would you? Why would you want to do that? Because the person from the Times wouldn't write good things about you if you did that.
No, that's not the case. Because I want to deal with reality.
You want to deal with reality? I can tell you what reality is.
People are struggling. People are suffering. I want to deal with the problems in a pragmatic way.
Why are they struggling and why are they suffering?
We can hold hands and surmise about all these other reasons.
I don't want to do that. I want to know why they're struggling. Why are they struggling?
A lot of folks are struggling because they can't find jobs.
Why blacks and Hispanics?
Across the board, all socioeconomics.
So everybody is struggling?
Everybody is struggling.
So Asians are suffering just as much as blacks?
The face of welfare is not an African-American family.
Oh, so it's Asian, Jewish, it's all of them?
Caucasian.
Okay, we're all struggling.
A lot of folks are struggling.
Okay.
Wow.
Now he seems like an insane person, right?
Yep.
See, if I played me arguing with Gavin Newsom to my mom, she'd go, well, let him finish. You're not letting him talk. He cares about... But if I played her Burt Reynolds and the NPR chick, she'd go, that Burt Reynolds, I never liked him.
Yeah.
He's a nut.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Man, this might be the only time I would ever say this, but I'm glad Burt Reynolds is not around to have flipped the tides and just started talking like an insane person, because everybody I love is going nuts. Like, Robert De Niro's not getting that age. I'm like, what's happening to you people?
No, man, Gator would have never gone nuts on us. But Burt Reynolds sounds insane because he brought up a problem and then he has no solutions to it.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Can we get an AI version of Margot Robbie and Marge Schott arguing over who wants to blow you less?
Oh.
Yeah.
I would listen to that. Throw Burt Reynolds in.
Yeah, throw him in there, too. Why not?
Well, I got to say this. I now am captivated, and I'm going to lend Burt Reynolds' voice to all Gavin Newsom clips.
Ah, it's great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I will take my NPR chick and replace my nasally drone because it sounds so much more sensible when she does it.
Where else they gonna go? I don't have a good Burt Reynolds, but I'm just saying that'd be great if you just add that into that conversation.
Yeah, play the first 45 seconds one more time, just because it makes me laugh. And for some reason, the picture, you can go to adamcarolla.com and see it, but.
Half of African Americans in the state of California, roughly half of Latino families have no access to a checking account or an ATM, things we take for granted. They don't have a checking account.
What's wrong with them?
Well, because they don't have the resources to sock those things away.
Why do we have them?
A lot of different reasons, but roughly half those families don't.
Why do Armenians have them?
But where they end up is a check cashing place.
But I want to know, why those groups? Why do those two groups not have access?
Just happens to be that we can talk about...
Are they flawed?
No, they're hardly flawed, but they're struggling.
Genetically flawed?
Hardly. Absolutely not.
Do Asians have this problem?
I mean, a lot of communities have problems. A lot of whites have these problems.
All right.
So it's
so everyone's got problems.
Man, could you imagine if he's on the CB with Snowman giving this conversation and he's like,
God.
dude, I just wanted to get some Coors from Texarkana. Bring it back. Shut your mouth.
Little Enos is giving me the third degree. I'm now in love with... Now, listen. I said I wanted a celebrity to be his voice and celebrity to be my voice. And Joey went, the only AI voice available on the computer is Burt Reynolds. Mm-hmm. And I was like, not my first choice, but now I'm in love.
Now you're in love with it.
With Burt Reynolds
Yeah.
as Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, the lack of options is what really drew your heart to it. I love that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And now it's a familiarity thing.
Yeah.
So, That 70s Show wasn't supposed to be called That 70s Show. They just called it that. It was like a working title. Yeah. And then after 6 months of development, they're like, we're just going to call it That 70s Show.
Yeah. God's got a great way of working things out, and I feel like his power was
with Burt Reynolds.
With Burt Reynolds, yeah.
And I just wanted generic nice chick who sounded logical, so Burt would sound nuts.
Yeah. Governor Gavin Newsom was roasted online. You and I saw this the other day and talked about it, but his online for his bizarre AI-created reaction to being called out for sitting in a testicle-crushing pose during an interview. Democracy requires flexibility, Governor Newsom's press office wrote in a caption to the post. You showed me this the other day, and you're right. That is a deep leg cross. Only compared to that is the guy sitting next to him.
Well, he's from the Times. He's from the New York Times, so he has to present with his leg crossed.
Yeah.
They do it in the animal kingdom. It's like when a woman wants to get fucked.
Oh, presenting.
She presents.
Yes.
It's called presenting.
Tail goes up.
It's progressive presenting. I want to say to my audience, here's who I am. Now, here's how you know it's bullshit. And all these people. I think we'll give Obama the credit for being the Rosa Parks of the deep leg cross. He said, no, I'm not going to sit with my knees apart. I know I cross my legs like a chick, but that's because I'm super sensitive, and I'm going to present that way. So he is the grandfather, Obama, of the deep leg cross. Since all progressive politicians look at Obama as sort of the poster child for all progressive politicians, they then want to mimic them as well. Now, here's how you know these guys don't sit this way. When they do interviews and they're not in front of an audience, they often sit in a normal fashion. But when they face the audience, they present with the deep leg cross. They'll cross their legs in interviews as well, but it's 100% when they're in front of an audience. So what we're saying is to the New York Times crowd, hey, I am down with your progressive bullshit. Watch how far I can cross my legs. And then the guys from the New York Times is like, I cross my legs that way too because I'm from the New York Times. And then what Newsom does is he goes, I'm going to go for a deeper leg cross. I want you to show that I'm more progressive. Here's my challenge. Gavin Newsom is 57 years old or something. Can we find pictures of him in his 30s doing a deep leg cross?
No.
Well, why do you change? You can find pictures of me when I'm 7 crossing my legs the same way I cross my legs now. Who changes the way they cross their legs unless there's some sort of psychological thing going on where you are presenting to the audience? And what are the chances that every single one of you dudes sits like a chick? And it's 100%. It's 100% progressive dudes.
I wonder if there is an epidemic where guys are seeing this, like you talked about. Oh, I have to, align with this group, so now I'm starting to cross my legs like that. But how come guys don't notice it? I notice when guys do it that they great Photoshop.
Right.
But when I see guys that do it, they don't recognize that they're doing it and think to themselves, I'm smashing my balls into my thighs. Why don't I uncross my legs? But they continue to sit like that, and it's gotta be torquing on your ball sack.
I'm telling you, it is. So here's the deal. There's the tons of yarn or string bracelets. That's the one way you present. You just wear, like, if you're not flexible enough to do a super deep leg cross, you just wear a whole bunch of stupid yarn bracelets that your fucking daughter made you, and you walk around with that. And then I'll let you know how I think and how progressive I am and how inclusive I am and so on and so forth. Now, the right-leaning version of that is I take the Oakley blades and I put them upside down on my ball cap, and then you know how I sit, and I don't sit like this homo. You've never seen a dude with the Oakley blades on his ball cap sitting like fucking Gavin Newsom sits. It's an impossibility. You could search the internet for 10,000 years. You'd never find a guy with the Oakley blades on top of the ball cap sitting with the deep leg cross. All right, you can get rid of this picture, by the way. We've seen it.
I was, when we were on vacation, my daughter was with me. I went to go buy a new pair of sunglasses, and I was looking at the Oakley blades, the old school, like the Jose Canseco, and I wanted to buy them, and my daughter's like, you put those on, I'm hightailing it out of here.
Right.
She would not hang. I was like, why? She goes, because there's people that are looked at a certain way when they wear those sunglasses. I'm like, I don't give a shit how I get looked at. I just want cool sunglasses. I want to enjoy I pay for them. Damn it, I earn these things.
Yeah, Oakley blades, once they make it on top of the ball cap, and if they're upside down, or maybe worn backwards on the ball cap.
I was going to say the guys with the visors that are also backwards and upside down. That's
if you're
another one.
wearing the Oakley blades, you voted for Trump.
Yeah.
If you put them on top of your ball cap, you are the head of the MAGA movement, and if you put them backwards on your ball cap, you're in the Klan.
You're in the Illuminati.
You're heading to a Klan meeting. Like that's
Grand Wizard.
But you will never see that deep leg cross.
No, of course we can't because we have a handgun taped to the inside of our thigh. How are we going to be able to cross our legs?
Yes,
it doesn't work that way.
Now, as per usual, I'm just on to stuff early. I was complaining about this shit early. And now when you turn on Jesse Waters, he's referencing all the crosses, the leg cross, and giving them all the names. But let it be known I was early money on the deep leg cross and what it meant. And by the way, when people go, who cares? Well, there's an answer. The answer is he didn't sit this way 15 years ago. When he was 40, he didn't sit this way. By the way, as a man gets older, the nutsack descends more, becomes greater in size. Sometimes you grow into your dad bod a little. You are less likely to sit that way as you get older. Like a kid can sit in front of TV and sit on their feet. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you could sit and just sit on your feet. When you're old, you can't sit on your fucking feet. Your compression socks will fall apart. So like the idea that you're sitting more and more like a kid and a chick as you get older, that's just signaling. That's not comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, progressively, I think maybe, I don't know if I told you this story on air if I was the other day, but I was talking about being at the airport and I saw the guy in the pajama pants with the Crocs and the blankie swinging his arms. And I turned it into a bit. I was doing it this weekend in Las Vegas, and every guy that I talked about it with, I brought it up because there was a guy who was the rodeo was in Las Vegas this weekend, and there was a dude sitting front row, big old cowboy hat on. Dawson, you saw that guy. We chatted with him after the show. He was great, but that guy was a Army sniper. Like big old farm guy, him and his super fun hot wife. They came from Ohio, come to the rodeo, and I'm like, what happened to dudes? Why isn't there more dudes? And he goes, there are in Ohio. There are in Illinois. There are in. We're still out there, man, but nobody wants to listen to us. It's everybody on the coast. It's East Coast. It's West Coast. It's big city, New York, L.A. Nobody wants to look at us. And I'm like, well, finally, people are getting a little bit of a light shown on them.
The rodeo there's two sports where the audience dresses like they may get in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Rodeo, they dress like someone's going to point up there and go, okay, one of the riders is taking an L.
I played pickup hockey with those guys.
Come down here. Get on that bull. Like they dress like they're getting on the bull.
Yep.
That's how rodeo works.
Yep.
The other sport that does that, which is weird.
Women's rugby.
Tennis.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I went and saw the U.S. Open with Kimmel a million years ago in like Flushing Meadows or wherever it was, a train ride from New York or whatever. We were there. We knew Pat O'Brien or something, invited us out, blah, blah, blah. And each stop, people were getting on the train, and they're wearing the wristbands and the head thing and the Fila's shorts and the thing and the head, I was like, what is this, players? It's like, no, they're watching. It's like, yeah, okay. You don't have to dress like you're getting in the game. Tree-torn shoes. They dress like they're out there.
Sure.
And I get it. Football fans, put the jersey on or whatever, but they're not pads and a helmet. Rodeo guys dress like they're in the rodeo, and tennis guys dress. And I bet you the tennis guys would make fun of the rodeo guys immediately, but they do the exact same shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing about playing pickup hockey in Minnesota. You'd have guys out there, maybe a little older, upper 30s, low 40s, and they just want to get a good skate in. And then there's dudes out there that think that there's a scout from the Minnesota Wild sitting up in the stands at the Richfield rink, just waiting to be like, we could use a winger. Or just up on down to the X. We'll throw some pads on and get you out on the ice tonight. Yeah. So anyways, if they want to make a documentary about you calling all this stuff early, well, maybe they can do it through Warner Brothers and they can put it on Netflix. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Okay. Republicans in Congress have warned of potential antitrust problems with Netflix absorbing HBO Max and Warner Brothers content rights. Some members of Congress on Friday deemed Netflix's $82 billion proposed acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery Studios and streaming unit as an antitrust nightmare. Netflix said the deal would create jobs and give its 300 million subscribers more bang for their buck.
Yeah, I don't think there's an antitrust thing. There's so many platforms and outlets and whatever.
Yeah, you're right. You can sort of segregate all of this content, and I don't know. Sometimes when things get bigger, though, they always say, things like get worse, or the content goes down, the quality of it. Have you watched a lot of the stuff that's out there nowadays? A lot of it's garbage. A lot of it's not worth watching at all.
Yeah, I tend to stick with the docs. I watched a 5-part Scorsese doc. You know, I tend to watch the docs, and I tend to watch the docs, I think, because I don't feel like they're empty calories. I sometimes feel like if I'm just sitting around watching Jingle All the Way, which Rudy and I watch, but if I'm just sitting around kind of binge watching another episode of this show, another episode of that show, and then you sort of check your watch and 3 hours has gone by, I'm the kind of person that I'm not a heavily disciplined person, but I do also feel like you should kind of work a little bit every day. You know, you should work a little bit. You know, like I don't like the feeling of not working for 5 days in a row. And I don't like the feeling of just vegging out in front of the TV. But if I watch a doc, I go, okay, now I learned something. And then it doesn't feel empty calories to me. And so it's like, you know, the Scorsese stuff is interesting, and then you find out about this and what year he did that, and then you have some reference points, and then you come in, you start talking about it. It's sort of like, well, now it's a write-off because it's my business. So I tend to watch docs.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the people that are probably the most intelligent people, I think.
Mayors of New York City and L.A.?
And L.A. combined, 30 years. What will they have? Here's one for you, Dawson, or Andrew. By the time you get done with Karen Bass's run, and by the time you get done with Mondami's run, and you put those two numbers together, we're going to be at like 36 years of horrible, retarded people running these two cities, because, you know, it's 05 to like 27 or something with Bass or something like that, 26, 27, and then Mondami's going to go for another 4 years or whatever. Anyway, be interesting. Here's the thing. If you show me a person that just goes, I don't like docs, I go, all right, it's going to be a dumb person I want to hang out with. Or I don't like listening to talk radio. I go, okay, dumbo. If you show me a person that will watch docs, but only about shit they like, then that person is smart, but not as smart as the person who will watch a doc on anything. That's the person you want. And if they can watch a doc on something they're not interested in, that's the person you want to be.
Yeah. I don't know if there's ever been a bigger doc that has created more interest in the last probably 2 years than this Puff Daddy documentary that has come out. I don't know if you've seen any of it. I think you and I watched like 15 minutes of it, 20 minutes of it the other night.
Yeah.
But even my mom, who is not somebody who would typically, you know, she was more of a East Coast rap fan, not really West Coast.
Yeah, she was Biggie.
Yeah, she was, definitely more Biggie than, Tupac. But even she had called me and asked if I have seen this. And I was like, yeah. So it seems like it's one of those things that, everybody's kind of watching it, but maybe it'll sort of bring people down another direction and go, hey, maybe I can start watching some documentaries and learning about other things besides just my own little bubble.
Also, like talentless as an artist or something. Like I feel like I've been telling people the whole time, like, you remaking Kashmir does not make you a fucking artist. And you know what everyone's number one answer is? I like that song. I go, yeah, I know. You like Kashmir from Led Zeppelin from 20 years before. Yes, me too. Now so what's wrong with sampling? And what's wrong with sampling? It's somebody else's song, you fucking idiots. Make up a song or shut the fuck up because he can't do it. Ugh.
Yeah, we had somebody tell us the other night that they go on stage and do some Dave Attell jokes every once in a while. I don't know if Dawson was in the room when it's like, maybe you should not tell people out loud that you do that.
I sample Carlin, so I can't say anything.
Sample. Well, you do sample. It's not
sample
like
Carlin.
Yeah, you pay him exactly what he is owed. His estate.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Right-wing political commentator Tim Pool said that his home was involved in a late-night gunfire attack. In an X post on Saturday, December 6th, Poole wrote, "Last night, a vehicle approached our property and opened fire." He lives in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Detailing that no one was hurt, our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the report to appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil, Poole concluded on his social media post.
Poole's a real smart guy. He's a very serious guy. Like, I haven't met young dudes who are as serious as he is.
Yeah, I like that he looks like he plays in the band Rise Against. He always wears black. He's got a little bit of a beard. He looks like a rocker. He'd have like the fingerless gloves. You know, he listens to Papa Roach, but he's very smart and intelligent. Yeah.
He listens to Papa Roach.
I'm just saying he's got the look.
Those guys. I mean, I'd interview all those bands on K-Rock back in the day. God, Papa Roach. What happened to them?
Cut my life into pieces.
Oh, yeah, that was them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see all those bands when they go out.
Constantly. I'm still in the fold. I still got to go out and sit through half that stuff. Yeah, it's awful.
So, all right. So, wait a minute. Remind me. I got to
contact Papa Roach?
No.
Call Jacoby Shaddix?
I invited John from System of a Down to come to the Christmas party.
Oh, nice.
I wanted another member of System of a Down to come as well, but I've forgotten his name. So,
it's not Serge, Darren?
There's one more.
Oh, yeah. The one I can't think of either.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Drummer, right?
No, John's the drummer.
Oh.
I think John's the drummer.
Are you thinking of Chavo?
Oh, God. Let's see. Let me see. Which System of a Down guys?
Do.
There's no, it's Chavo. Yeah,
Chavo, yeah.
Chavo.
Yeah.
I gotta invite Chavo.
Oh yeah.
That's who I gotta invite. Okay, sorry. All right, write that down.
Okay, more Papa Roach talk if we could.
I would interview all of these bands. I mean, there were the presidents of the United States of America.
Yeah.
There was, Art Alexakis of Everclear. I mean, it's just band after band of the Verve Pipe.
Yeah.
All those bands.
Art Alexakis is he's the epitome, and you talk about this a lot with Jay Moore. Early on, huge douche, go through a little bit of hell, come out the other side, salt of the earth. Art was one of those guys. I remember he came to the Warehouse. It was a venue in La Crosse, Wisconsin when I was working there, and he was impossible to be around. Huge dick to everybody. Met him 20 years later, salted, like shaking hands, giving hugs. Yeah, just a good dude,
Yep. Guys get nicer, women get crazier.
Sure.
That's how it works. All right, you got one more?
I got one more. Let's do it. So, yes, even after Mamdani takes office in the first year, Benjamin Netanyahu will visit New York City. If you remember, Mamdani vowed to have Bibi arrested under an international criminal court warrant for war crimes. Being in a city of international law means looking to uphold international law, and that means upholding the warrants from the International Criminal Court, whether they're from Benjamin Netanyahu or Vladimir Putin.
All right, where's my number, Andrew? This should be I'll do it. 05. When's Karen Bass is out in 27 or 26?
I think 2026
Go
next
on the
year,
computer
right?
machine and do this thing, is what I'm saying, Andrew. Otherwise, it seems dumb because I just yelled it into a mic 10 minutes ago and then we don't do it. She's 6 or 7, you can tell me.
And New York is
she 6 or is she 6 or 7 though? 14 to 29.
Karen Bass 2026 is when her mayoral term.
All right, write this stuff down. So we go 05 to that. So we got 21 years in LA, and in New York, you can do all this and put it on the screen, or I'll do it, Andrew. You go 14 to 29. Which is 15 years, so it's 36 years. But write it down, Andrew. Okay, 36 years of combined horrible governance in L.A. and New York. All right, we got Benny Netanyahu saying something there.
Let me ask you a separate question. We've long wanted to do one of these interviews in person right here in New York.
By the way,
and I didn't
answer your question, Andrew. I'll come to New York. Okay.
And that was my question. Would you come to New York, given what the mayor has said about arresting you?
Yes, of course I will.
And you will test that? I mean, what is the thought about how that would work?
Well, why don't you wait and see? Yes, I'll come to New York. Okay.
Would you want to talk to him, by the way?
Well, you know, if he changes his mind and says that we have the right to exist, that'll be a good opening for a conversation.
Oh, good. Mandami. So, you know, these people, they're just like Ilhan Omar and all the Rashida Tlaib and stuff. They're constantly going, no, I got nothing against the fucking Jewish people. And then everything is just against them all the fucking time. And then their heroes are the people that are the fucking terrorists and the Jew killers. That's who they defend them, and they're always attacking the Jews. At some point, you can just go ahead and be anti-Semitic. Like I'll just go ahead and say you don't like them.
Yeah.
Because you are a fan of the group that wants them dead, and that's who you defend. And then the group that is being attacked, the Jews, are the ones you're constantly attacking. So I think I know which way the wind is blowing in terms of how you think and what you're saying. Now, it wouldn't be, listen, I have twins, boy-girl twins, and if you were around me for a long time and I kept constantly saying what a horrible dope the boy was and how dangerous he was and how he didn't have the right to exist, and then I kept blowing smoke up the girl's ass. After a number of years, when I said to you, oh, no, I like them both equally, you could tend to not believe me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And this is the same group that when you say, hey, Somalis, please don't come to my state and make it a shithole. You're more than welcome to come here, but just try to, clean up a little bit. They go, you're a racist.
Right.
How dare you, racist?
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Thursday night, going to be in Fort Lauderdale. That'll be at the Improv. And then Friday, Saturday, they'll be at the Miami Improv, doing 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and then back to Fort Lauderdale, the Improv again. I have no idea how that works, but that'll be Sunday, December 14th. Go to adamcarolla.com for all that. New York is 27 years of governance. Did I figure out? Is this stuff I figured all out, Andrew? Yeah. Keep a pad. Since Rudy G. All right, listen, there was an easy assignment. You just take the 2 numbers and then you put them together, and then you have 36 years of that number, which I think I already did. But I'm saying goodbye now, and you're typing numbers into the thing. But I think we already did it. You ready? 5 in L.A. to 26 in L.A., right? That's 21 years. And then New York is 14 to 29, right? That's
15 years.
15 years. And you put those 2 numbers together, and we get 36 is the number, right? All right. You're counting Bloomberg. Oh, I don't know. Was Bloomberg that bad? Bloomberg was bad. Okay, so now Bloomberg started what year then?
Oh.
Now we got to add to our number, right?
Oof, man.
Bloomberg started in 10 or 02? 02 to 02 to 13. So now it's New York's 02 to 29. Wow. Oh, so now they got 27 years, and now we add 27 to our 21. Is that right?
Yeah.
27 to 21. Now we got 48 years of shit.
40, longer than I have been on this planet.
Oh, man. All right, and that's why the 2 cities have turned to shit, everybody. So let's just get a smart person in there. Let's get Rick Caruso in there, everybody, and we'll solve this. All right, Rudy, what are your plugs?
You can find me this weekend. I'm going to be in Huntsville, Alabama with Jonathan Kite at Levity Live Thursday through Saturday. The following weekend, December 19th and 20th, I will be with you in Las Vegas. And January 16th, I'll be at the Red Carpet in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
So, until next time, it's Adam for Debbie and Rudy saying mahalo.
Recorded live at Carolla One Studios with Adam Carolla and board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist, Dr. Drew Pinsky. You're listening to The Adam and Dr. Drew Show.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on it. Judge, make it on. Get it on. Dr. Drew's board-certified Mexican specialist. Yeah, so controversy from our last show. I was explaining about our mayor of Los Angeles who was started to kind of, and I will say this, I don't give Gavin Newsom his due very often, but when he says sort of California leads the way, we do with fucking retarded ideas that then end up fucking up other places that adopt these ideas. Yeah. And the sort of chick thing kind of leads the way.
Bloomberg came here and touted California as the ultimate liberal ideal state.
Right.
And then he disappeared. He's not been heard from since on that topic.
So I was explaining that about 10 years ago, Garcetti, who's willowy and wispy and straight by all accounts, just soft, super soft.
Didn't we decide he probably isn't straight? Isn't that we sort of... Anyway. Right.
Who decided that?
I don't know. I thought you and I had that conversation.
Well, he's got a wife and kids.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Wake up, Drew. And no, you and I never had that discussion. Right. But he's soft. No, but here's the whole point. Gay guys have an affect that starts early and often. Straight guys have to conjure it later in their career. It's not like he acted like a pussy in high school. He had to put on the pussy facade at 40. You know what I mean? So that's where the crossing your legs that way and sort of handling yourself a certain way and sort of think Obama. Obama kind of ushered in soft, wafy, kind of deep leg crossy kind of guys. There's a sleeve roll. There's a kind of what you do with your hands when you sit. There's a definite leg cross. There's a posture to it that isn't much different than being gay, and that as a gay guy, you sort of have your mannerisms. Well, as a soft guy, you have your mannerisms. You have to signal to your constituency, the LGBT community. You have to bring up the LGBT community like constantly. Always, right? And the black and brown, the LGBT community. You have to talk about how whatever affects this community all the time. And this community could be women of color, the LG, the trans community, but the constant Islamic community. You have to bring up communities constantly, and then you have to talk about how it affects them. And then you have to sort of de facto talk about how your heart breaks for those communities who are affected and impacted by these, that's what you do. So you care. You just get up and care. Now you don't do anything, you don't have any plan, and you don't build anything, and you prevent people from building things.
I want to bring up,
you get angry.
I want to bring
when
up
they do build stuff.
Something you and I talked about yesterday, which is a neuropsychologist I heard talking the other day who said, if you're going to do something, build something, do not talk about it because there's a motivational system in the brain that is satiated by talking, whereby talking feels like having done it.
Right.
And
so we talked off the air. Yeah. Sorry, you have to make that clear.
Yes, it was off the air. You and I were talking about
it. And I had been wondering out loud for a long time, and I've been saying to Drew about this, and I would always use my ex-wife as an example, which is she said she called the cable company or she made a note to do this or did that, but nothing ever got remedied or fixed. And I would say to you all the time, this is like 15 years ago, because she feels satiated. Yeah. She feels like she did something. And as a matter of fact, she would present it all the time. Like,
look what I've done. Yeah.
Yeah. If I said, your license has been expired for 6 months, you got to get your license. I went to the DMV.
Right.
When? Sunday. What happened? They weren't open. When was that? That was 4 months ago. Like, she would trot it out.
Yeah, as having been done. Yeah.
Well, she would trot it. I'll tell you what she would do. It'd be like if your wife said, when are you going to clean those gutters? I keep telling you to clean those gutters. And then she said it like you would say, look out the window right now. You see the ladder? See the ladder and the gloves at the bottom? I just came in for some lemonade. See the ladder? She would say that like she was saying that, except for she never did anything.
Right.
And it never got done. Right. And I would constantly say, calling the cable guy or calling the whatever guy or telling the gardener or whatever who never did and whatever it is you said you were going to do, it's the same as zero. It is the same as not doing anything.
Weirdly,
you know, but they never felt that way. And I would say to you all the time, I'd go, she feels satiated.
Yeah.
Like she feels like she did something.
So we need to talk about it. We need to have a committee about it. We need to discuss it. We need to have a seat at the table.
She knows we didn't get whatever done, but there is a satiation.
Yeah. But
and I've been screaming about this for a long time, and I've been saying, sitting and talking about the homeless and, you know, and dignity and a seat at the table. I say it satiates.
Yes.
Stop talking about it.
Well,
so
think about
you say, now what with the brain? Go ahead.
So, well, now the insight that this neurobiologist was providing, which is that there's a motivational and sort of satiation, as Adam puts it, system that is lit up in the same way by doing something as talking about it. So talking
with
about it and doing
women
something.
or with everybody.
Well, you and I speculated.
Because it doesn't work on me.
Right.
I would get frustrated.
But would it work on Gil Garcetti? Yeah.
It works on women.
Yeah.
And it's a chick wiring thing.
Correct.
But it would not work on Margaret Thatcher.
No.
But it would work on Eric Garcetti.
Yes.
So it's not penis and vagina per se.
No.
It's a chick think.
Yeah.
And now he probably didn't want to drill down into the chick think part of it, but I've noticed women talking about stuff in perpetuity.
Yes.
And for me, it would be frustrating to talk about something and not get it done.
Not only that, but government takes that to another level. It's like, well, we handed $300 billion to them. It's over.
Right.
They never follow up. They never check. They never measure. Then it's just, it's done. We gave them the money. And
all right. Okay. So I was mentioning that Eric Garcetti is a pussy, and he ran Los Angeles, and he was one of the earlier onset pussy guys, although
early onset pussy.
But Obama kicked open the door for those pussies, right? And so we got a bunch of super soft douchebags trying to run cities. And look, it's good for doulas and wet nurses. It's not in opening a floral stand, but it's not really good for running a city because it's like tough decisions and sorry, homeless guys, you don't have a right to camp on the street, and we're getting you out, we're sweeping you up.
We're helping
you. But it's tough love.
Yeah.
And they don't do that.
No.
So
that tough love, the idea, we are doing what's necessary to help you. And sometimes that requires work.
Right.
And that's that doing things you don't want to do in your disease.
Right. So I would... I hearken back to a quote I heard while I was driving about Eric Garcetti saying that when prisoners are paroled, we owe them a debt of gratitude, which is a real pussy thing to say.
Yeah.
Now, I told Andrew to look for it, and then he Googled it. And Google, which I'm interested in looking at again because I found this interesting.
They said it was a fabrication.
Google said it was picked up. Someone else said it, but he never said it.
Right.
And I was like, well, there's computers and there's Google, and then there's me sitting in traffic listening to my AM radio 10 years ago, and I heard it.
Well, the only thing that scares me about that, Adam, is that your memory is pretty much perfect. That is rare. Most people's memory is not. And I don't want everyone now relying on their memory so much.
No, do not rely on my memory, not your memory.
That's right.
Eric Garcetti.
And I say that without sarcasm.
According to Google, Eric Garcetti did not say we owe them our gratitude. That quote is a fabrication that originated in 2019, opened in the publication City Watch, L.A., which sarcastically attributed the statement to him. Okay, so Google says he never said it.
So we went to Grok.
So we said, well, let's check with Grok. And Grok
quotes it.
says, the quote you're referring to appears... Oh, sorry, let's see. Sorry, but I'm still reading the top, so you can give me the top. Appears... to stem from a May 27, 2016 announcement by then Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti about $9 million, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now we go down. When people have paid their debt to society, our debt of gratitude should be just thanking them.
Not just thanking
not just thanking them for their service. Being incarcerated and costing us $50,000 a year for their service, but allowing them a pathway back in. All right, so he's soft, and I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
But that's what both of us remember. We remember that quote. I remember seeing it.
Yeah. But Google says no. Now, what's Google doing?
Scrubbing. They're just,
They're not scrubbing. They're fabricating.
Yeah.
Why?
Lying, yeah.
Why?
Because it doesn't look good.
For who? Why, aren't we interested in accuracy, Google? No, Google. You don't want to be accurate?
No.
He did not say we owe them our gratitude. All right, well, that's what the quote is.
And then
that's what I remember.
To an audio.
We got a link to an audio that Andrew thinks is AI. But if it's AI just reading it, then that's fine. That's what he said.
Let's see.
All right, let's listen to what
because you and I remember it.
I know what he sounds like, and I know what he looks like.
Yeah.
When we invest in people, we don't know where things will turn out. But when people have paid their debt to society, our debt of gratitude should be not just thanking them for serving that time, but allowing them a pathway back in. They will also have access to services from life skills.
So why do you think that's AI, Andrew?
That's what he sounded like.
That's what he sounds like.
I don't recall what Gar said.
That's what he sounded like.
But why do you think it's AI is what I'm saying.
Sounds very masculine. It sounds like someone put a text-to-speech and
all right, well, let's hear it again. I don't feel like it's masculine.
No, because it's so much him. We're used to him.
Yeah, we know what he sounds. You're from Philadelphia, but that's what he sounds like. I don't think he sounds masculine.
But, I mean, you never know with AI. Who knows, right? I mean.
No, I'm saying who knows, so shut up is what I'm saying. Yeah. But play.
When we invest in people, we don't know where things will turn out. But when people have paid their debt to society, our debt of gratitude should be not just thanking them for serving that time, but allowing them a pathway back in. They will also have access to services from life skills training to cognitive behavior therapy.
So this is Garcetti. It doesn't sound that masculine to me, but this is him saying what Google said he didn't say.
And that is precisely how I remember it, although there is a part of this that bothers me, which it sounds like a radio interview. I remember him standing at a microphone doing it.
Well, Drew, your memory is all over the fucking road.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard it on the radio. It could have been a presser. There could have been a film footage of it. Yeah. So let's one more time. Is Google trying to beat us on a technicality where he never said, you know how they do that a lot? Yeah. They do a lot of he didn't say.
Yeah.
I said earmarks of Russian collusion. I didn't say it was. I didn't say Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian collusion. I said it had all the earmarks of. That's different than saying it was. Yeah. I just said it had all the earmarks, Drew.
Crazy.
Lying person.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And, the sun is checking out early these days. It gets dark early. And that can set you up for seasonal affective disorder. It affects us more than we think. Maybe time to reach out, check in with people, and maybe you catch up with somebody that you haven't seen in a long time and you wonder to yourself, why did you let time go by before you did that? In fact, I'm doing that tonight. Same with therapy. It can be difficult to start. People have lots of preconceived notions about why they shouldn't go. It's all denial. It's all defensiveness. And once you do get the help, inevitably people think, why didn't I do this sooner? BetterHelp, of course, makes it easier. They lower that barrier to entry. You just fill out a short questionnaire. They match you with a licensed therapist. Matching people right the first time is their thing. And if it's not a fit, you can switch anytime. No awkward breakup required. They have over 30,000 therapists, 5 million people helped, and a 4.9 out of 5 rating. And there's a reason for that. So connection is important to your people, to yourself. And if you are disconnected from some aspect of your emotional system, BetterHelp is there to give you a hand. Right, Daphne?
This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take that first step. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/AdamandDrew. That's betterhelp.com/AdamandDrew.
Eric Garcetti did not say we owe them our gratitude. That quote's fabrication. All right. Now, did he say we? The problem with all these guys is they're horrible public speakers. So when you read the transcript, it always comes out stupid because they're not good at it. They're not that concise.
Not accurate, yeah.
All right, let's see. One more time. Let's see. He does a stumble before it a little bit.
When we invest in people, we don't know where things will turn out. But when people have paid their debt to society, our debt of gratitude should be not just thanking them for serving that time, but allowing them a pathway back in.
All right.
They will also have access to...
I'd go ahead and say Google lied about this.
Yeah.
So what's Google doing, everybody? Why are you running interference for Eric Garcetti?
I have trouble with them all the time.
I know, but you guys are partisan actors. Don't people know? I guess we know that, right?
Yeah. That's why I use Grok all the time.
The large language model that Google is utilizing, probably the technicality is I didn't hear him use the phrase "o." O-W-E in that sentence. I can play it again, but he just said debt of gratitude. He did not say we owe them gratitude.
Oh. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it again.
One more time.
When we invest in people, we don't know where things will turn out. But when people have paid their debt to society, our debt of gratitude should be not just thanking them for serving that time, but allowing them a pathway back in.
Okay.
They will also have access to services from life skills.
Well, no, we're playing owe them or our debt of gratitude.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But they may be doing a little technical work
The
around.
syntax is implied just with the words, but Google's LLM is disavowing it in this instance.
Yeah, but are they disavowing it because he's a progressive?
Because they're motivated.
Are they motivated?
Hey, but whatever. It's
okay. All right.
Why do they come up with where it came from if if they're so...
They're motivated.
Yeah.
All right. So, Drew.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a weird experiment, but...
There's a topic I want to get to, so let's do our
What
experiment.
topic do you want to get to?
The gyno-fascism biology
keep
thing.
going. Keep going.
So there is a woman, I got to look up her name very quickly, if you don't mind. Her name
Be prepared for all the gyno-fascism stuff to start in.
Yes.
Because they will be following what I've been saying for years.
I think gyno-fascism is going to be a substitute for chick-think.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. Dr. Danny Silkowski. This is a podcast, Female Psychology and the End of Empires. Okay? Female Psychology and it's subtitled Civilizational Collapse. And this is a evolutionary biologist from Australia who is very much and she has evidence for what she says. And she says that this cycle we are in happens repeatedly, anthropologically, through civilizational cycles, and it is ultimately the result of a reproductive strategy of women. That while men can go out and conquer and can impregnate as many people as they want, women cannot do that. I mean, Cleopatra could have done that, but she didn't. She could only do one baby at a time, so she went for high-value males, Mark Antony, Teresa, whatever. So that tends to be the reproductive strategy of the female. So how do you isolate high-value men for yourself from the reproductive market of other females? Well, you do that by discouraging other females from reproducing. How do you do that? Well, when they're very overweight, they don't produce very well, so body positivity. Lack of families. You should
body. What do you mean when you say body positivity?
That's the movement
I know what you mean.
that glorifies Lizzo.
Right. So every chick who's glorifying Lizzo is in a Peloton commercial while she's glorifying Lizzo.
And she's either a useful idiot or adopting a reproductive strategy.
Right.
And so there's that. There is.
By the way, you know it's a little weird sidebar to that? And I've always said it. Women love when women cut their hair short. They go, oh, she looks so good. I'm going to cut she looks so good. What they're really saying is, okay, she's off. She's not part of this for a while. She cut her hair short.
That comes up in her discussion.
Right. They fucking love it. And I'm like, what do you give a shit whether her hair is short or not? Oh, she looks so good. And then they go to you like that. You cut your hair looks so good. It's like what they're saying is, all right, you're off the playing field.
In the meantime, their hair is down to their ass.
Oh, their hair's to their ass.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So they're on a Peloton with their hair caught in the spokes. But they love Lizzo and they love the bob.
Well, and just think about how the bob goes all the way into trans.
Right.
So we're going to support that. We're going to support the bob,
support
the
everything.
trans.
Yes.
We're going to support don't reproduce. Go get your be a have a career. Don't do this reproduction thing.
Right.
Pro-abortion.
Right.
Because I wouldn't abort a baby, but you should have the option to do it.
Right.
All these things, if you put them, those are the ones that come to mind at the top.
Mm-hmm.
You put them all on a list, and it causes women not to reproduce as a strategy, as opposed to diet and education, and Charlie Kirk. Opposite of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is the enemy because he's encouraging all women to go out there and have babies and have families and build and do your.
He's the enemy.
Yeah,
That's
your professional life for sure, train whatever, but pay attention to this other part. And so it is something that she has documented in many, many, many civilizations throughout history. So it's not an unusual thing.
No, nothing is new, really.
Right.
But it is new in that I always, whenever some bitch does something stupid as running a city, I go, we need more women in positions of power. That's kind of new. Yeah. This take them. We got Karen Bass running Los Angeles. She's a dope. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She's probably, I don't know if she's socialist or she loves Cuba more than she loves Encino. I'll put it to you that way. But we decided she's good. And we're dumb, and she's dumb, and she's destructive, and we're idiots, but we decided we need more of this. And if we can't find her, we'll find, Zorhan, some dude who basically acts like a chick, or Gil Garcetti, who's a chick, essentially, or Gavin Newsom. It's not good. It's going to ruin our fucking society. I've been saying it. Everyone hates me. Nobody likes that kind of talk.
Well, by the way, the other thing to do is to devalue high-value men.
Oh yeah.
So anything
that
is productive, is masculine. Those God, stay away.
Right.
Look at my husband. Oh,
right.
Right.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Be right back after this.
Isn't that interesting though?
It explains a lot of what I've been feeling. I've been feeling this for a long time.
And I'm always, as a biologist, I was trained as a biologist, and one thing I learned early and often, when you're trying to explain biological mechanisms, whether it's behavioral or behavioral proteins or behavior of mammals, you look at the evolutionary adaptation. What is it doing from an evolutionary perspective in terms of moving the genes forward? That's always what it's about.
Yeah.
Always.
All right. I did this weird little experiment where I thought, I started going down this road, which is I thought, my conversation with Gavin Newsom's insane to me, but I realized people hear my voice and they hear his voice and they don't respond, or they might. And
what do you mean?
Well, it's me arguing with Gavin Newsom, but if they would just read the text, really just actually transcribe what he said, he sounds like an insane person.
Yes. Right.
So I grabbed this 3-minute clip and I got with Joe and I said, let's get rid of my voice and get rid of his voice. And by the way, make me a woman who's interviewing him and just make him a dude. And let's hear what that would sound like.
It's awesome.
But then he ran across Burt Reynolds' voice. Joey did when he was... I'm looking at this picture. He's got the state of Florida embroidered on his hat, doesn't he? Is that what that is?
Yeah, he's a big Florida guy. Went to FSU.
I know he's a big Florida guy, but in this movie, he's in Georgia and Smoking the Bandit. But anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting. Never noticed that.
I never noticed he had a Florida hat. Anyway, I know he's a big Florida guy. He was in a movie called Gator, for Christ's sake. So I said, why don't we just have Burt Reynolds' AI voice be Gavin Newsom?
Yeah.
And my voice will be an NPR type of chick.
Yeah.
Like a nice,
I'm dying to hear this.
chick. And it's a weird little thought experiment. So this is, now none of the dialogue is altered at all. It's just transcribed. It's exact words. And I am the NPR chick, and he's Burt Reynolds. Here we go.
We got to do this with everything. We do this with everything.
Well, it might work, it might not work, but I found it interesting.
Do it.
All right, let's listen.
half of African Americans in the state of California. Roughly half of Latino families have no access to a checking account or an ATM, things we take for granted. They don't have a checking account.
What's wrong with them?
Well, because they don't have the resources to sock those things away.
Why do we have them?
A lot of different reasons, but roughly half those families don't.
Why do Armenians have them?
But where they end up is a check cashing place.
But I want to know, why those groups? Why do those two groups not have access?
Just happens to be that we can talk about...
Are they flawed?
No, they're hardly flawed, but they're struggling.
Genetically flawed?
Hardly. Absolutely not.
Do Asians have this problem?
I mean, a lot of communities have problems. A lot of whites have these problems.
So it's not just black and Hispanic?
No, but it...
Well, why did you bring up black and Hispanic?
Because the magnitude is ominous.
But why so many of them?
It just happens to be. Just the magnitude.
That's the way God planned it?
Not at all.
Well, what happened to them?
There are a lot of issues, and communities are struggling.
Why are they struggling?
A lot of different reasons.
Hispanics have been here, blacks have been here longer than we have been here.
Well, we can surmise...
What about Asians? They were put in internment camps.
Yeah. In fact, it all initiated out of San Francisco. The Chinese Exclusion Act came out of progressive San Francisco.
So are they at the check cashing places?
A lot of Asians certainly do.
Oh, so why don't you include them?
Because then the only reason why is the magnitude of the problem.
But there's no way to figure out how that happened.
We could talk about, you know what I'm dealing with? I don't want to have a sociological debate.
Sure. Why would you? Why would you want to do that? Because the person from the Times wouldn't write good things about you if you did that.
No, that's not the case. Because I want to deal with reality.
You want to deal with reality? I can tell you what reality is.
People are struggling. People are suffering. I want to deal with the problems in a pragmatic way.
Why are they struggling and why are they suffering?
We can hold hands and surmise about all these other reasons.
I don't want to do that. I want to know why they're struggling. Why are they struggling?
A lot of folks are struggling because they can't find jobs.
Why blacks and Hispanics?
Across the board, all socioeconomics.
So everybody is struggling?
Everybody is struggling.
So Asians are suffering just as much as blacks?
The face of welfare is not an African-American family.
Oh, so it's Asian, Jewish, it's all of them?
Caucasian.
Okay, we're all struggling.
A lot of folks are struggling.
Okay.
It's the best thing ever.
It highlights the fact he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking. He's not saying anything.
But here's the really interesting part. Apart the fact
I'm
that
glad
it's
you appreciate
it's genius.
My genius.
It's genius.
My genius.
Yes, you're a genius.
My genius. The fact that Burt Reynolds randomly popped up when we were trying to figure this out.
How would you like me to express that
completely
to you?
Well, I said I want a celebrity, and the only celebrity that came up with purpose.
Well, I would argue,
why do you find that genius?
Because, but I tell you the part that really, for some reason, brings it all the way home is the NPR check. That's the part that takes it all the way.
It can't be another dude, and it can't be me.
Yeah, that's the one that you go, that makes you say, oh, fuck, right? So I want from now on, in fact, from this show, I'd like it to be with an NPR check from now on. Because people will respond so differently.
Right.
I want to hear
because you go, that fucking male buffoon doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and she's just trying to do her job.
I want to have a
right instead of shut up, Adam.
Yes, I want to have a conversation with the NPR radio chick about chick think, and see what that sounds like. You know what I mean? Like, see if the term chick think out of her mouth rings different. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
So interesting. Andrew, did you have the same reaction I do? Did you?
The folks in the room are used to my genius, so they're kind of impervious to it, or it's called a Tuesday for them.
It's like the scene in A Time to Kill when Matthew McConaughey is delivering that impassioned speech at the end of it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't. Oh, you don't?
No,
Right.
he doesn't watch any movies.
Oh, no.
But the point is my conversation with Newsom, I realized was insane. But I realized that because of my voice and his voice and partisan politics and side taking, my mom would have listened to that and went, you didn't give him a chance to talk. She would have taken Newsom's side and said, I badgered him or let him talk, or I understood what he was saying, or he's trying to help or whatever. I realized that I had to remove myself.
Yep.
I realized I had to remove him.
Maybe it's a strategy for life here.
Yes, I realized I had to replace with an NPR woman.
Yes.
Now listen, who would have thought of changing genders? This guy.
Full respect.
Because I said I need an NPR woman. And by the way, who's more masculine than Burt Reynolds?
Yeah.
So I need a very masculine-sounding Newsom and a NPR chick, who's me. And now you realize how insane Burt Reynolds sounds. But that's not Burt Reynolds, it's Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
And that's how nuts. Hey, I don't know, did he track? Was there anything that changed his ideas?
He actually sounded like a robot. You know what I mean? In terms of his maneuvering. Like he made no sense. It just sounded like like the way a robot would maneuver, not a person.
One more, just the first 40 seconds, just because I can't get enough of it either.
We got to put this out somehow so people understand what it is.
Half of African Americans in the state of California.
And putting Bert's picture is funny. And then it was Andrew's idea to go tight on Bert when he got into stuff.
Half of African Americans in the state of California. Roughly half of Latino families have no access to a checking account or an ATM, things we take for granted. They don't have a checking account.
What's wrong with them?
Well, because they don't have the resources to sock those things away.
Why do we have them?
A lot of different reasons, but roughly half those families don't.
Why do Armenians have them?
But where they end up is a check cashing place.
But I want to know, why those groups? Why do those two groups not have access?
Just happens to be that we can talk about...
Are they flawed?
No, they're hardly flawed, but they're struggling.
Genetically flawed?
Hardly. Absolutely not.
Do Asians have this problem?
I mean, a lot of communities have problems. A lot of whites have these problems.
So it's not just black and Hispanic?
No, but it...
Well, why did you bring up black and Hispanic?
Because the magnitude is ominous.
But why so many of them?
It just happens to be. Just the magnitude.
That's the way God...
All right, it just happens to be.
Just happens to be.
Well, that's a problem solver, isn't he?
Wow.
It just happens to be. That guy's going to solve that problem.
I want to see...
It just is, Drew.
I want to see a whole series of these.
I got more.
I want more. We should have an episode every week, every show on this show, at least every week.
First off,
what?
You understand these are hardworking men and women in that other room over there.
I know,
Drew.
it's a lot to ask, I know.
And, but I do want that one with him and Kara Swisher brought up as well that I've made people play a few times. Well, first off, I talked to him for an hour, so we can easily do more of me. Yeah. But there is the one where he's talking about people leaving the state.
Oh yeah, the Utah, the Salt Lake City thing.
Yeah, it's in the computer somewhere. Yeah. It's 3 minutes long. He's talking to Kara Swisher, and that could easily be swapped out for NPR woman who basically Kara Swisher anyway, and Burt Reynolds. I'm now in love with the idea that it's always Burt Reynolds.
That's the conceit.
Well, because my mom would hear that.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't know anything. She'd hear that, and she'd go, Burt Reynolds is such a blowhard. He's such an asshole.
Yeah, she hated
and that NPR girl, I don't know where she went to college.
Yeah.
Probably a woman's college, but she's bright. And she took it to him.
Yeah.
She stuck it to him.
Yeah.
And that's good for her. Because Burt Reynolds, that guy, like, that's my mom would do.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
my mom heard me and Gavin Newsom, she would take Gavin Newsom's side.
Of course.
All right.
This is the insanity of the present moment. This is it.
Go to, thank you, Drew. Yes. I'm glad you responded so positively
to that.
Oh, my
God. It's genius.
Boston, Mass, Wilbur Theater coming up Thursday, November 6th, and then Friday off to Buffalo and Electric City doing stand-up shows there. Go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. What do you got, Drew?
Everywhere. YouTube, X probably your best place. Ask Dr. Drew Tuesday and Thursday at 2 Pacific, Wednesday at 4.
So, until next time, Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo.